right now on No More Down Low. It's our first anniversary. We'll count down the top 5 most popular segments from the past 12 months.
What was your favorite No More Down Low story? I'm Kendall Hogan. Stick around for the shocking surprise.
Then, Out on the Hill.
The question was not if black communities aren't homophobic. The question was, are they more homophobic? I know.
A delegation of African American lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people converged on both Capitol Hill and the White House.
And I'm Janora McDuffie. Why were 100 black LGBT activists summoned to the White House, and just what did they talk about?
And he has to say those things from the pulpit, because if you don't have punks, sissies, bulldaggers, and queens in your church, you don't have a church. Come on, look at me. I'm a black superstar. I should have a white wife.
Then she cracked us up as the first guest on our premiere episode. But her recent breast cancer scare was no laughing matter. Mark Noble tells us how Wanda Sykes took control of her own health crisis. And get ready, it's our first wedding. No More Down Low goes behind the scenes as Ivan and Wymond jump the broom into holy matrimony. Plus, get ready to laugh out loud as we look back at our year in review. It's all coming up next on No More Down Low.
Hi, I'm Regina King.
I'm Sharif Atkins.
I'm Martina Wesley.
I'm LaToya Jackson.
This is Linnell, and you're watching No More Down Low.
We are celebrating 1 year in the exact location we were 12 months ago. What's up, everybody? I'm Janora McDuffie.
And I'm Kendall Hogan. It was October 11, 2010, National Coming Out Day, when NoMoreDownLow.TV premiered right here in West Hollywood.
That's right, Kendall. And over the past year, our mission has remained the same, to highlight positive images of African American, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender members of the community who are living their truth and making a positive impact in the world.
But tonight, we start on a somber note. Our first story is about a woman who was our very first guest on this show, Wanda Sykes.
That's right. We've got Mark Noble, who's standing by right now in Burbank, California, to give us an update on Wanda's current health challenges. Mark?
Well, Janora and Kendall, Wanda certainly is a woman of firsts. Not only is she the first major African-American celebrity to come out and say she was a lesbian, but now she's tackling her own health challenge. We are talking about breast cancer, and she's sharing her story, taking to the airwaves, one of her stops behind me here at Warner Brothers on The Ellen Show.
So you made the decision to
have a bilateral mastectomy. I had both breasts removed, and because now I have zero chance of having breast cancer.
The bombshell revelation from Wanda, who, as seen on YouTube, opened up to Ellen DeGeneres on The Ellen Show last month about first being diagnosed with breast cancer last February after undergoing a breast reduction surgery.
And I have a lot of breast cancer history on my mother's side of the family, which I didn't know about. So, that's important. If you talk to your family, don't, it's not a secret. It's not, anything that you should hide. If you have it, let your family know so that way they know what to look out for.
The African American community in general has an interesting breast cancer situation where they get younger breast cancer and it's more deadly.
Breast cancer researcher Dr. Susan Love, who is also openly lesbian, takes a particular interest in Wanda's case as it speaks loudly about the correlation between cancer and the lesbian community.
And I think the African American lesbian has maybe even less access to screening and care and maybe is more afraid, and so again we need outreach.
But I realized that that's right. I forgot. I'm a lesbian.
It's not being lesbian that makes you at higher risk, but being lesbian also means you're less likely to be monitored and screened, because the main thing that drives women to the gynecologist is birth control. And if you don't need birth control, you don't bother going to the gynecologist. So you're less likely to get your pap smear, you're less likely to be sent for mammograms, you're less likely to get breast exams.
Even more reason is Wanda has become more of a poster child now in the fight against breast cancer, and with this revelation, She is a very busy woman.
But I was, real, hesitant about doing this because I hate walking. And I got a lot of walks coming up.
And contrary to her humor, Wanda is adding one more cause to her repertoire in the fight against breast cancer. Of course, her tour is ongoing. She's made stops in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I say log on to her website to see where she will be next. No More Down Low is in Burbank. I'm Mark Noble. Janora, back to you.
Thanks so much, Mark. We sincerely wish Wanda all the best. Not only is she a great comedian, but she's a brave woman as well. Now, on to our countdown of the top stories over the past year on No More Down Low. Coming in at number 5, discrimination at the diner, featured on our April episode. And at number 4, one of my personal favorites, our Black History episode, featuring Trent Kelly's amazing photographic collection of Afro male couples dating back 140 years. So, can you guess what's number 1? Results are coming up. What do you think, Kendall?
All right, Janora, I'm also interested what will be number 1. But right now we move from West Hollywood to the nation's capital, where a contingency of black LGBT people converge to make their voices heard. With that story is our young Capitol Hill correspondent, Rodney Nickens Jr.
Approximately 200 black LGBT community leaders, activists, and members of the media convened on Capitol Hill for the National Black Justice Coalition's 2nd annual Out on the Hill Leadership Summit.
If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. That's right.
They came to raise their voices.
The impression is that African American men, they're on the down low seeking to infect heterosexual women with HIV/AIDS.
And in the nation's capital, you are free to lynch a transgender African American person.
Our church began performing union ceremonies, and that's when all hell broke loose.
That night, I found my son, Carl Joseph Walker Hoover, had taken his own life in our home.
We have institutions that teach us how to be homophobic, and that would be the Black church. Thank you.
They came with stellar credentials.
Federal Legislative Director for the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force.
I am the president of the Detroit City Council.
I'm the Federal Policy Director for the National Center for Lesbian Rights.
I'm the Director of the Mayor's Office of Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Affairs here in the District of Columbia.
They came to the nation's capital to advocate equal rights for the African American LGBT community.
They're here to build an empowerment zone for the Black LGBT community around this country, and I would dare say around this world.
Out on the Hill Black Leadership Summit is the brainchild of the National Black Justice Coalition's Executive Director, Sharon Letman Hicks. The 6-day summit was held in September during the Congressional Black Caucus's annual legislative conference.
Black LGBT people are black people too. We felt it's important for them to know that there are black LGBT elected leaders, public policy makers, activists, faith leaders, all walks of life of our interests, both in Black America and LGBT America.
Thank you. On that note, let's get ready for the White House.
Day 1 began with a highly anticipated visit to the White House for a briefing with Obama administration officials outlining policies and initiatives of interest to the black LGBT community.
So Valerie, what do you think?
Daddy said I was never going to be I may not be but I'm going to the White House.
I want to see Sasha and Malia. I want to see Sasha, Malia, and the dog. I'm just saying.
And while the briefing was highly informative, there was no Sasha, no Malia, and no cameras.
You want to go to the California office? Please follow me.
Day 2, Issues Advocacy Day. Summit leaders converged on Capitol Hill to speak directly with legislative assistants from their own congressional districts.
So how'd it go?
It went very well, I thought.
Okay, good.
Because I believe that we are more homophobic.
And what's a summit without a little bit of fiery rhetoric?
The question was not if black communities aren't homophobic. The question was, are they more homophobic?
I know. Yeah, I heard that piece. And he has to say those things from the pulpit. Because if you don't have punks, sissies, bulldaggers, and queens in your church, you don't have a church. You don't have a church.
One of the high points of the summit was the unprecedented 9 town hall and panel discussions addressing a rainbow of issues affecting LGBT people of color.
Now we have to work on employment issues. That's right. That's right. We have to work on HIV and AIDS.
So you are free to lynch a transgender African American person. Only 30% of those murders get solved.
And he says, you know, I'm a princess boy, but I'm actually half boy and half princess. We as adults have to step up. It's our turn to say we're responsible for this bullying epidemic.
It was really a celebratory week for us to recognize that we have so much to contribute to the conversation around the Black agenda. We have so much leadership we can offer, and most importantly, that we're recognized, that we're visible, that we're respected, that people understand that we are decision makers too.
Reporting on Capitol Hill for No More Down Low, I'm Rodney Nickens Jr.
Thanks, Rodney. Great reporting. In upcoming episodes, we'll be bringing you more stories from the Out on the Hill Summit, so stay tuned for that.
And in the meantime, on with the countdown.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in at number 3, we've got our premiere episode that featured Wanda Sykes, director Paris Barclay, photographer Dwayne Kramer, and the ladies from the LA Blues band 805 South.
Wow, now that was a good show.
It was.
But coming up, we have a behind-the-scenes look at our very first wedding as Ivan and Wymond tie the knot in grand style.
Yes, and of course, we've got our last 2 top stories of the year from No More Down Low, as well as a year in review that includes a few outtakes.
Outtakes? Oh wow, this should be funny. We'll be right back. Welcome back to No More Down Low. I'm Kendall Hogan, and we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, as well as the countdown of your favorite shows and stories from the past 12 months. We're down to number 2 on a sad note with 87,000 YouTube views. Is one of the final interviews with the late recording legend Tina Marie at the Diva Simply Singing AIDS fundraiser. And boy, do we miss Lady T. Janora?
I do love some Tina Marie. Well, switching gears a little bit, how many of you guys have actually been to a gay wedding? Well, back in 2009, when the Marriage Equality Act passed in DC, couples were lined up to get married. But for Ivan and Wymond, they decided to wait till what they felt was their perfect time. Well, it turns out that their perfect time happened in the middle of a perfect storm. Take a look.
I am very excited. It's a day that I've waited for, and it's finally here. And dealing with my bridezilla, I'm glad it's soon to be over.
Put your chin right there. Give me that smile. Ah, good.
It was Labor Day weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, 2003, and I was walking by myself, and then he tried to pick me up.
I tried to.
No, that got us to this point.
However, it is important to point out that I talked to the sheriff and he wants people to stay inside.
Even if there are 3 people here, the show will go on and it will be okay. The show will go on.
When marriage equality was passed in Washington, D.C., I saw it as a sign for us to not only for us to seek the legal backing for the union, for our love. That's what's important to me. I want the community as a whole, the judicial community, the religious community, as well as the community at large, to respect the person that I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with.
I'm just happy about my dad getting married.
We have 2 sons. They're currently 9 and 10, Cedric and DeMontre. They've been a part of our family since 2008.
This is about a celebration. I mean, that's all I want to do.
to celebrate, witness, and bless the promises of faithfulness that Wymond and Ivan make to each other as they join their lives in the covenant of marriage. Will you, Ivan, have Wymond to be your companion for life's journey, to love, honor, and support him as long as you both shall live? If so, say I will. I will. And will you, Wymond, have Ivan to be your companion for life's journey, to love, honor, and support him as long as you both shall live? If so, say I will. I will. Wymond and Ivan have publicly declared their commitment and intention. Their covenant will also unite their individual families, their friendships, and relationships. Will you, who are present today, love, honor, and support them in their life together? If so, say we will. We will. Amen. The two candles represent your separate lives. Together, you light the center candle as a sign of unity and commitment. May the love you share be broad enough to envelop you and all of those you love, bringing new light and life to each person your lives shall touch. Having declared their commitment and intention, made vows to each other, and exchanged rings in the presence of loved ones and holy God. By the power invested in me as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and by the District of Columbia, I declare Ivan and Wymond to be husband and husband, legally married. Amen. Wymond and Ivan have chosen to honor the tradition of our ancestors in days when legal marriage was not afforded to slaves. Couples yet found love in the heart of their beloved. Their voices stated their commitments, and their word was proof of their intention. To symbolize the transition to life together, they would jump the broom. And so, with full legal recognition, and as an homage to those gone before us, Ivan and Wymond now jump the broom.
What a beautiful ceremony. And even with the threat of Hurricane Irene, Ivan and Wymond said that with an exception of a few out-of-town guests, almost everyone made it to the ceremony. And as for the honeymoon, they plan on taking the boys to China over the holidays.
Well, congratulations, guys, and thank you for inviting us to be a part of your special day. So now the moment you all been waiting for, your favorite No More Down Low story. The drum roll, please.
All right. With a total of 92,000 and counting hits on YouTube, your favorite No More Down Low segment from season 1 is the Doritos hunk, George King.
Wow, really?
Yes.
That was my very first interview I did for No More Down Low.
It was.
92,000 hits?
I'm just saying, you, George King, I see why.
You're too kind. Now that we know what your favorite story is, check out ours in our No More Down Low Year in Review.
It was National Coming Out Day, October 11, 2010, when our first guest, Wanda Sykes, said this.
There's no such thing as black gays. Yeah, we don't exist. We're like unicorns. And
that assessment was true back then, But look what we've observed in the past 12 months.
I don't feel like the poster boy for gay black men, but I think some people see me as that.
Two brothers on Atlanta's MARTA rail system, very comfortable and not afraid to display what appears to be the nature of their same-gender loving relationship. Essence.com took the bold step, breaking ground, to include these images of a lesbian couple in Washington, D.C. as part of their wedding section.
Each month, we feature thought-provoking stories about LGBT people of color whose lives and achievements are often overlooked by both the mainstream media and popular culture.
We stand here today in solidarity.
That act motivated Evelyn to turn from military outcast to activist for LGBTQ soldiers, particularly African-American same-gender loving military personnel.
From the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell,
we have to provide some type of protection for those LGBT people who begin to serve openly.
To witnessing marriage equality in New York, we don't just tell one side of the story. We reflect on the diverse opinions of the entire African American community.
I think what we have experienced in terms of the feeling and the sentiment of the church, and I believe that that's what will continue.
And when it comes to advocating for the LGBT community, we're here to amplify their voices.
Gay community, stop hijacking the civil rights movement.
How can the gay and lesbian community take the NAACP serious when you hear this hate speech?
From HIV and AIDS.
But there is a larger question: why straight African American men are largely MIA in the fight against the disease.
I didn't think an African American woman, heterosexual woman at that, could acquire HIV.
White gay men took care of their community and brought the numbers down. We need to somehow get that blueprint.
To homophobia in hip-hop and sports.
There's so many down low folks in the hip-hop community that are mainstream right now that, you know, it doesn't matter. We're gonna do what we do and we're gonna rep for them even though they're not repping for themselves.
I thought it was really sad. In his most angry point, in his most venomous point, he chose to use that word.
To the injustice of LGBT people in the African diaspora.
First and foremost, we can give a message to the rest of the world that human rights are important, and human rights everywhere in the world are part of American foreign policy, to press for human rights.
We've also found a unique way to tackle the tough issues.
And black women are getting HIV infection faster than anybody. Anybody. That was a good take, by the way.
I have dated men and women.
Did he just say what I thought he said?
And garnering the support of our Black Hollywood allies. And along the way, we've become activists in our own right. Like my participation in the 7-day AIDS life cycle bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles. And most importantly, we've tried to have some fun along the way.
We are on the main drag here in Palm Springs, known as Palm Canyon Drive. And I have no idea.
Say ready? Thank you, Mark.
Oh, we're hanging out. Okay.
Literally.
Check.
Literally, we hanging out. Did you know that black women, more than any other group, were discharged under this blah, 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 blah?
What a fascinating concept and play.
Really cool. I
was trying to talk to you.
Okay, let's go. I'm sorry.
Yes, the state of the Black LGBT community has come a long way in the past year, and No More Down Low will continue to tell the stories as they unfold. And that's a look back at season 1.
And that's it for our anniversary show, but here's a look at what's coming up on our next show.
On the next No More Down Low, a mother's heartbreaking story.
That night, I found my son, Carl Joseph Walker Hoover, had taken his own life in our home.
Her son was bullied to a point that he committed suicide. We'll discover what Sardina Walker and others are doing to end bullying in our schools.
All that and more in our next show. And what an emotional story she has to tell. You don't want to miss it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
Well, before we go, we'd like to first take this moment to say thank you to you, our loyal viewers who come back to our little web show month after month and share it with your family and friends.
Your Facebook comments and your messages really help shape the stories we tell.
So we'd like to say thank you for making season 1 more spectacular than we could have ever imagined, and hope that you stay tuned as we launch an effort to get our little web show on an even bigger screen.
So we want you guys to call and email your favorite TV network and tell them you want to see No More Down Low on TV.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So from West Hollywood, after a full year, reminding you to spread love and not hate, I'm Janora McDuffie.
And I'm Kendall Hogan. We'll see you next time.
Season 1, baby.
Done. 1 year. Oh yeah, that's how we do here.
Cool party.
I'm down.